Good afternoon on this beautiful sunny day, and welcome to episode 6 of the Outside Bet. And we have finally got a bet after the international break hiatus. Right then, guys, welcome to episode 6. This is an odd video because our bet isn't really a full strength bet, but it will be featured at the end. It's far more than a strong lean, it's a very good bet, but it's just not enough to meet our criteria. But that's not to say it won't meet yours. Everyone's hammering us for bets. All of our premium WhatsApp subscribers are, and our questions and Q&As from this recent launch of this podcast is all coming back in. Because when the international break's on, my word, do people get thirsty for bets on league action again. Well, they're coming this weekend. And first up, we have finally got some fixtures, and they are in the Brazilian Serie A. Now, word of caution on the Serie A, there's been an international break. People have played for their countries. Squads might not be at full strength, so pinch of salt, hence there's no bet, but there are some very strong leans in the first half of that slate, which we have reviewed for today's podcast. If we go through those leans quickly, we've got a leans on the unders market in the Palmeiras game. We think the bookies are far too strong there. That's the bet at the end of the podcast, so join us at the end of the podcast to see a bet there. We've got Vitória to have a supremacy in the game more than the market thinks. But that is the same bet as the unders, remember. So those two bets are mutually exclusive, so just do one or the other. And then we've got a lean in the Gremio game that there'll be an overs. The overs will be good value. They're not enough for us, half a goal, but we may well trade the goals in that game because it's a good spot to be in. We've had great results for the podcast and for the people who are the premium WhatsApp subscribers over the international break. We don't feature them as part of our models, as part of our system, and that's because we don't have enough track record, bearing in mind the 5 goals rule, which you can hear all about on the Bet Selection Evergreen video, which we've just recorded, and will be up on the site later today. It's worth noting at this stage that international football is very hard to predict. You have teams that aren't trying to win. You have teams that get thrashed. Portugal won 9-1 last night. There's pretty much no way of predicting that, seeing as they played pretty badly and lost Ronaldo before that game. It was easy to predict that they'd win the game, but there was no value in that. We steer clear of international football largely. We are up. The fund is up 12%. So the people who are on our premium WhatsApp service and get all of our bets are up 12% if they followed us. That's fine. It's not really part of our models, and we just do some leans. I'm going to give you some of them today for tonight's European qualifiers. Tonight's European qualifiers are a little bit safer than normal international football, and that is because people have to win or they don't care about winning because of qualification for the World Cup and qualification for the playoffs. I will not take up too much of your time today, so pushing on to that, I thought there was give you something of interest that you don't get from other people ahead of tonight's games. If you wanted to look at things, we've got the highest XG games as being Belgium, Romania and Spain. No surprise on Spain, really, and no surprise on Belgium. What is weird with Belgium is their goals are skewed into the second half. So if you wanted to make a bet on Belgium supremacy and you could wait for some of the first half before putting on, you will get very, very much improved odds in the second half of the game, because the market will fall because nothing much happens in the first half of Belgium games. And if the market falls and you can put it on knowing that quite a lot happens in the second half of their games. Of course, if it's a one-off and Belgium score a couple of early goals, there's no bet, but you haven't lost any money. So that's a good trade. And it's likewise, there are some interesting teams that do really well in the first half, by which I mean Austria, Bulgaria and Spain. Now, for the purposes of this video, you can ignore Spain. The reason Spain do well in the first half of a game is because they do well in every half of every game, and they're playing rubbish opposition. And we've got them, for instance, tonight as the third highest home win on the market, and we've got them with an average expected goals of about 3.25. So there's virtually no value in betting on Spain, but there is value betting on Austria. Now, Austria love first half goals. They are our strongest first half goals team on tonight's slate. We're not recommending a full bet on this because it's not our style, but if you are looking for putting things into accumulators, you could go more goals in the first half than the second half. You could trade the goals from the opening off because Austria will start strongly and they're also extremely favoured to beat Bosnia. And the other thing you can do is wait for them to take a huge lead in the game or be 2-0 up, maybe 2.5-0 up, doesn't matter where you are on the total goals market, and then sell the second half. This makes sense in a lot of international football anyway, because the amount of subs in the second half of games and sometimes the amount of resting players and agreements with clubs, that if a game's 3-0 at half time, there probably won't be 3 goals in the second half, excepting Portugal the other night, of course. So I do like the Austria trade, and I do like that. If you wanted to just go for some straight accumulators, why not pick, I don't know, Spain, Romania, and Belgium to win and add something to that to your accumulator? I mean, that's it really. I mean, we could waffle on about what there is to bet on, what there isn't to bet on, but well, let's face it, all of our punters, and you included, are probably thinking, bring on the weekend, bring on league football. Sorry, there's a vehicle going past. I hope that's not drowning me out. That just leaves us to tonight's bet. This morning, we managed to get over 2.75 goals under two. Let's start that again. That leads us on to tonight's bet, 6 minutes 13. Which was an unders trade in the Palmeiras Vitoria market. That's a Thursday night game, Wednesday night game for us here in the UK. We've got the total goals in that game at 1.9. Remember at the start of the video, I said to you, it is not exactly a full bet for us. And the reason for that is we look for a whole goal gap in the market. And if we're getting evens at under 2.75, we would need the total goals to be 1.75, and we've got 1.9. However, our members are desperate for a bet, and why not? We wouldn't mind a bet either. So why don't we play the unders market, under 2.75 goals at evens on the Palmeiras Vitória game, and we'll see how that goes when we open up our accounts on Thursday morning after the Wednesday night games in Brazil. Good luck if you're betting on the international football this tonight, and see you all soon. We'll be getting into the regular Outside Bet daily podcast and hopefully the audio starting very soon. See you later all.